Hello and welcome to the Staunch Talk Show. My name is Princess Mahogo, and I am super excited to be here once again today as we are joined by Dr. Brink, who is a doctor at the Tshwane University of Technology, and she's joining us today to talk about the importance of students bettering their chances of getting jobs either after graduating or while still studying. And she will be enlightening us and giving us more information on what students can do to increase their chances of getting jobs. Welcome, Doctor, and thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm looking forward to have this conversation with you.
Mm-hmm. So may you just briefly explain to us what role you play here at Tshwane University of Technology?
I'm the Director for Cooperative Education, looking after work integrated learning. That's the overarching terminology in South Africa for preparing the student for the world of work. I'm currently working with 68,000 students approximately. Tshwane is the biggest contact university within South Africa.
That's amazing, considering that, South Africa is currently dealing with very high numbers of unemployment. So I think you're playing quite a vital role in ensuring that our youth has a future, a bright future that is. So let's quickly get into it. Why would you say it's important for students to to finish grade 12 and have a qualification after completing grade 12?
So earning a qualification from a university or a college after you complete your grade 12 is very important. It can help you to develop not only just your personal but also professional skills. It puts you in the market with a maximize earning at least and getting a good salary, but it's overall it's prepare you and give you better life satisfaction, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So if you know what you study, then you have a better life satisfaction.
And once students are at university, most of them, they end up struggling with adjusting, especially if maybe they come from the rural areas and they're adjusting to a place like Joburg, Durban or Cape Town, a big city where life feels a bit fast for them.
Yeah.
What would you advise those students who have just moved, maybe preferably first year students who've just moved from excluded places, if I can put it that way, so like rural areas or remote areas, and they've come to the city for the first time, they are studying and they feel overwhelmed because they are not used to the way things are happening. Maybe they are not even used to the way of teaching that happens at the university. What would your advice be to them?
Okay, so at the university, at Tshwane University of Technology, we have what we call the 101. The 101 is a course that the students need to do when they arrive. So it's compulsory to do in the first year. And that is the bridge between high school and the higher education environment to introduce the students into the culture of learning at a higher education institution. So they do specific courses, but it's also important to highlight to the students, it's not the time to play around. You're here to focus and to plan your studies. So planning for students is very important. You need to inform the students, and during these courses, you need to tell the students that you are here to obtain a specific goal. Because sometimes the students coming from smaller places or smaller towns, for them it's overwhelmed. So what they will do is they will get into pressure from groups, and then they will start partying and forget about the real reason why they are here. And then you will see a lot of students not completing their first year and need to redo some subjects in their first year. So I think that this course that TUT is doing is excellent because it's teaching them about life orientation skills, how to adapt to the environment of being an academic in higher education institution.
So, and this falls into time management, knowing how to manage
yes, time management and planning for students is very important, because the minute that you don't plan your study and you don't incorporate time management within your study, then you get anxious, you get overwhelmed and don't know which one do I need to do first, and then you get lost in your studies. So the planning is very important for students, and it's also, I always tell the students, make friends, find that welcoming person smiling at you and greeting you every morning. Identify someone that you can relate to, because you need a mentor, you need study groups. You can't, otherwise it's going to be a very lonely journey for you as a student. You need that support structure, because your support structure is not here. Your support structure is maybe in Mpumalanga, maybe you're coming from the Northern Cape, and then you're without that supporting structure. So it's very important to, I believe very strong that students need mentors, and the university do have a mentorship program where the students can be assist in helping them to not feel lost and anxious. So there's a lot of programs within TUT that the students can follow if they feel they need assistance or help. But for me, I will say it's very important, make friends and don't identify the party animals and become friends with the party animals. Identify your hard-working students, because if you identify your hard-working students, you will also get in that mindset of, why do I need to work hard? Why do I need to get better marks? Because if you must remember, if you are doing your first qualification and you would like to carry on to your second qualification, there is a certain percentage average that you need in order to escalate to the next step in your qualification. So if you are just an average student with 50%, you will not be allowed to carry on to study further.
And that also limits your chances in case maybe there was a bursary that wanted to fund you. If now you start failing, then they are going to drop you.
Yes. So it's very important that you need to look after your grades, that you are performing to the best of your ability. And if you struggle, there are systems in place within the university that you can ask for help and for guidance. So the university do have all these systems in place to assist the students to perform to the best of their ability.
So a student who's watching right now and is more than halfway through their first year of doing a certain course and they are realizing, I'm not coping with this course, what would you advise that student?
I will advise that student to immediately contact either my office or the office of the Senior Director for Heads. We do have a division, the Student Development Center, and they are looking after the well-being of the student and all these courses. And the lady at that center, the director, is Shafika Dokra. But they're welcome to contact any of us, and then we will assist the students in that matter.
Right. So, say a student now has gone through the either 3, 4, or however many years of studying and they've completed, or even if before they've finished completing their studies, they have identified the field of work that they want to be in. What would you advise in terms of steps they can take towards getting experience into getting into that field?
Good. And now you're touching a very, very soft point close to my heart. I am a strong believer that the student can't only doing that in their final year. For me, and I said it on many occasions, that the day when a student registers, doesn't matter if it's a university or a college, the day when that student enter this university, it is the responsibility of higher education institutions to start branding the student. And what do I mean by branding the student? We need to incorporate work integrated learning, different modalities of work in all facets, from year number 1 right through year number 3. We need to break the silos and get the industry involved. Currently, industry is not that involved as they're supposed to be involved within higher education. For me, I feel like it's silos between higher education and the institution, the industry. And then sometimes I also feel that there is a silo between the Office of Cooperative Education and the faculties. So yes, we can say the students need to start doing volunteering work. That's excellent, because that builds on their CV. Because remember, if you receive your qualification after 3 years and they say, Princess, here's a qualification, you are now a journalist. What are you putting on your CV? What skills and experience do you have? None. If you've done work integrated learning at the institution, and it's only UOTs in South Africa and TVET colleges, that is formal structure work integrated learning. In your comprehensive universities, there's some of them that are doing some work integrated learning where they place the students. Now, I am the chair for work integrated learning of USAF, so I have a overall view of what everyone is doing. And I said to them at the last meeting is that we need to, we decided as a team that the terminology that we use in the country is work integrated learning. But under work integrated learning, you have modalities like community engagement, project-based learning, problem-based learning, simulations, and service learning, and those type of things. So I said to the lecturers the other days, what do we need to do to start branding the student in year number 1? We need to start getting the industry in the classroom with a problem from the industry. Say to the students, this is the problem. How will you solve this problem? And then divided the class into groups and say, think about and brainstorm critical thinking about this problem. Address this problem, and then I'll give you 10 minutes and then we will discuss it. The industry member will then say, okay, group number 1, come and present your solution. And then the students will present the solution. The industry will then say, oh well, it's very good, but that's not how it will work in practice. So the student will automatically networking with industry, start knowing their industry. The student will also know that theoretical, this was the solution, but practical, it's not going to work. So the student already have that hour or 2 that he can put on his CV to say, I have a connection with industry, we've done this in class, showcase it, and the student can start putting that as branding for himself. So my division, my aim is to start branding the students in their first years. So another way is also to get industry in. And I have a conversation with APSA the other day. And APSA said to me, you know, we identify the gap. I said, okay, what's the gap? They said to me, the students are receiving funding for their studies, but they don't know how to work with the money. Is it possible that we can come in and do short courses for the students on how to do finance management?
That would be amazing.
So that's what we need to start doing, is to get the industry who identify problems or a skills gap, teach the students on how to do the skills management or the finance management, and then they can put it on their CV. They can say, I've done a course with APSA, it was so many hours, I know how to do finance management. It prepares them to brand themselves, but it also prepares them for the industry to say, I've got the skills.
Yeah.
It's not part of my qualification, but I have extra skills.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also, I think it would also help in sparking creativity and ideas, you know,
Yeah.
because you might be studying journalism and you didn't know you have a love for, I don't know, finance.
Yes.
You could also, once maybe you are done studying journalism, then you could venture into that field if you feel that you have a passion for it, because sometimes you don't know until you've experienced something that you actually like it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
from afar, maybe because of lack of resources from where you come from,
Yes.
and lack of exposure to certain information. But then once you get exposed to that, then you discover, oh, I actually like this. Oh, I understand this. It's not as scary as I
Yeah.
thought it was before I was exposed to all of this information. So I think that would actually
Yeah.
work out well for
Yeah.
the students. It would
Yes.
benefit them a lot.
Yes. So what I believe is, I also this week I read and I came across the Japanese proverb, and the proverbs say that a bending bamboo is stronger than an oak tree that resists. And how do I link that back to preparing a student for the world of work? We as institutions need to prepare an agile student, a student that is adaptable to any situation. Because today you think journalism is this way. Tomorrow, COVID strike or any other pandemic strike, and the entire way of thinking for journalism change. So the bamboo can bend, but the oak tree can't bend. So the oak tree resists. So the bamboo at the end is stronger because the bamboo is agile, is adaptable to change.
Yes. And with the whole introduction of new technology every now and then,
Oh, yes.
one needs to up their skills and be up to date with what's going on these days. And as you mentioned, even for journalism, it had to change with COVID coming around. People had to learn how to work remotely. Time management once again came in, because then you have to monitor yourself. You are working from home, your boss is not there to be on your back every now and then, so you have to be the one to, I have to submit this article at this time, so I will do so.
Yeah.
And it has to be a proper article.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna take chances because I'm at home. So I think that's great advice, and that would be really good benefits for students if really APSA were to come through and go ahead with those ideas that they are thinking of implementing. And let's move on to now, say a student is preparing to go for an interview. What are some of the tips that you would give them to ensure that they present themselves well, they sell themselves in that interview? Student has an interview coming up and they are feeling anxious. What's your advice?
First of all, you need to look at the job description. And before you submit any CV for a job, you need to make sure that the CV is changed according to what you are applying. So I can't have just one CV and send it to 100 companies for a job. That's number one. Number two will be, if you are invited for an interview, you need to research that company. You need to know the history of the company. You need to know what is the vision, the mission, the values of the company. What are the job description? What would they like you to do? So if they ask you anything about the company, you must know the company inside and out. And I know it from my own experience. When I came for the interview last year at TUT, I've researched TUT to the teeth. When I prepare myself for the interview, you prepare yourself according to the vision and the mission of the institution. How are you going to add value to the company? So it's very important that you understand what is the company all about, because they're going to ask you, why do you think you are important for me to be employed in this company? And then you need to know what is the values and the vision of the company, and you need to fit into that. And if you can't do that, if you don't know the company, then it's a waste.
Yeah.
Then very importantly is, I always say to the students, if your appointment is 10 o'clock, you don't arrive 5 minutes to 10. You arrive 15 minutes before. That's on time. Because if you arrive 10 o'clock and your appointment is 10 o'clock and the people needs to wait, there's no respect.
Yeah.
I need to respect your time and you need to respect their time. So it's very important to be on time. You need to dress appropriate. And that's something else that I would like to start. And I would like to get the industry and the alumni of TUT on board with this community project. And I see it as a community project, is to dress the students for their first interview. Because I would like to show the students how they need to dress properly for an interview. You can't go to an interview for journalism. How will you dress as a journalism if you go for an interview?
And if you're going to be a field journalist, you need to have your techies, because you have, even if you're gonna wear your heels, you always carry techies in your bag, because if a protest breaks out, you need to be ready to run.
Yeah.
So you can have your blazer, your shirt, and your jean, and
your techies.
And your techies.
You will not dress like you dressed this morning with your high heels.
No,
so
you
see, that's why it's so important to get the industry on board. Also to tell the students, if you dress for a job, you need to dress according to the job.
Yeah.
So if you go for an interview on a management level, you need to dress appropriate as a manager. You need to look presentable.
Yes.
So it's very important to understand that. You need to make sure that you are well prepared. So I always tell the students, think of, if you read at the job description, compare a couple of questions for yourself that you think they will ask you. Then you know, and do a role play with your friends or your sisters or your siblings, and say, I'm going for the interview. This is the job description. Ask me a couple of questions and let's video it, record it, so that you can see how you answer the questions. So you need to be prepared. Go to bed early.
Yeah.
Don't have a party the night before you go to the interview.
Yeah.
Make sure that you know where is the venue. Because if you arrive at the company and it's a big company and you're running around and looking for the office where the interview is, the stress level will go up. You will arrive, you are stressed, you are nervous, you're all over the space, you panic, you lost, you forgot all the questions that you have in mind, the possible answers, and then it's a nightmare. Then it's a loss. So it's important to prepare, and research. Make sure that you know who you're dealing with.
And so for a student, let's backtrack a little bit. For a student who has now had to drop out of university or college because of whatever circumstance, either they fell ill or something happened that just forced them to leave their studies. What would your advice be? Because maybe this person is now feeling frustrated, they really wanted to continue and finish with their studies, but this incident happened that's causing them to have to leave school. What's your advice to them, and how can they now get back into school should that phase pass?
Okay, so my advice, and that actually forms part of the branding of the student, that I really think all institutions need to do is, if you start with skills development from year number 1 with students, you actually give them the skills to say, you can go into this route, or you can start your own business. So it's also important for institutions to start looking at incorporating some form of entrepreneurship within a short learning program or extra program. So, and that will also form part of what I'm trying to do within the institution, is to say, let's start branding the student from year number 1. By branding, I mean give the students different skills. So if something like that happened, the student at least got skills and can go into the market. Never give up to your dream. I mean, you can always come back and carry on with the study. Maybe when you enter the field or you start working, you realize, I was studying journalism, but actually I'm not a journalist. Actually, I'm more in finance. And then you can change your avenue. So it's very important to keep in mind that take the skills what you have, and that's why I also said to the students, it's very important that you do voluntary work from day number 1 as well. Go into your field of study and ask if you can work during vacation. Even if you do it for free, it is skills, it's experience that no one can take away from you. And that you can put on your resume, on your CV. That builds your CV. Because I've done voluntary work at APSA. I've done voluntary work at Jacaranda, or I've done voluntary work at the hospital. You put that on your CV, and then the industry will realize, but this is a person that really wants to learn, is eager to learn, and want to achieve the best in his life. Then you will find a job quicker, and that's the problem, I think, with our youth as well. I think we need to think outside the box, and one of the lecturers said to me the other day, you say, Roelien, that we need to think outside the box. Can't we throw the box just away and just think bigger? And I think that the students need to start thinking that they're not only in tertiary institution for a qualification. They're also here to build networks. They're here to build extra skills. And it, like I said, it is the responsibility of my office to provide them with the skills. But it's also the responsibility of the academics to build in extra skills for the students in their qualifications. Get the industry, because the industry is really hungry to work with higher education institutions. But it's a mindset that we need to change.
Yeah, and the student's responsibility is to commit.
Yes. So I see it as a triangle partnership, and we refer to it as a tripartite. And all stakeholders need to come on board. If it's only me that's trying to help the student, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I can't work in a silo. I need the hand of the industry to say, Roelien, we would like to work with you. And that's really what I want to achieve with the interview today, is to get industry on board. Contact me and say, we would like to work with your students. If they don't want to work with the students, we would like to work with the youth of South Africa. Get the youth and work with them. Because who's the future of the country? Let's be honest, the youth. And if we don't prepare them properly, the unemployment rate will just sky high again.
And it's horrible because it's affecting a lot of families. A lot of families and a lot of South Africans. Let's talk about a student who wants to do a certain course. The parents are not in agreement with that. They want them to do something else. The student wants to do music. The parents want them to study to be a lawyer or a doctor. Advice.
So, advice, and I have it from first-hand experience with my own daughters. Because we as parents has an idea in our head what we would like our children to become, and that's so wrong. So actually what needs to be done is that work integrated learning needs to take place from grade number 9 in high school, because the kids are selecting their subjects, I think, end of grade 9.
Yes.
So in grade 9, those students can do two things. They can visit companies and see how things are working, so do volunteering, shadowing, or work shadowing, or go to works and see how it works. Because that's what the medical field are doing. You need to work or have certain community hours within the health sector before you can apply for any of that. And then secondly, I will suggest that they do psychometric testing. Psychometric testing is a third party involved, no emotions, and they will test what are you good at. They will say, this is your strong and this is your weak points. This is your ability. So it will take the emotional side and put that aside. Because I think we as parents can get very emotional, because you want to see your child as a lawyer. You want your child to be a doctor. But is it really the ability of your child? So I will say the student need to go for psychometric testing at the universities or privately. And I know that some of the schools are doing those tests, because that will give you a clear guideline of where your child needs to go. And then also, if you decided in grade 9 that these are the subjects that I'm teaching, that I'm going to take, that I'm taking on school level, because this is where I want to take my career path, then you need to start doing voluntary work in that area to see, is it really that you want to be there and want to do at the end of the day. So that's my advice. To get a third party involved and get the emotions aside. Because parents can get very emotional. Because, sometimes I also think that parents they want their kids to become what they wanted to be and didn't achieve. So,
and now they want to live through their kids.
Yes.
And it can get frustrating for the child.
Exactly. And I think the parents need to realize that everyone is special. You have special strong points and you can't compare your siblings. You are not the same as your sister.
Yes.
Your sister is not the same as you. You have different strong and weak points. And that we need to identify. But yeah, that's, I would say, third party definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Doc, for joining us. And before I let you go, I just want to give you the opportunity, if you feel like there's anything else that we might have left out that you'd like to speak to the students that are watching, or even the parents as well. Any other information that you feel you need to add, you have the platform.
So what I want to say to the students is, dream big. If your dreams don't scare you, it's not big enough. For the parents, I want to say, let your child be what they know will be the best for them. Don't try and box your child to something that is not your child. Support your child and be there for your child. But let them be the best they can be. Because we are not the same, not all of us. So be there for your child, be the support system for your child, and for the students, dream big and work hard. Nothing in life is for free. You need to work very hard to get where you are. And that's from experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. And that was Dr. Roelien Brink. She is a doctor here at the Tshwane University of Technology, and she was joining us today to speak to us about how students can better their chances of getting a job after they have completed their studies, or how they can get work experience even while studying at the university. So thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions for Doctor, please do leave them on the comment section below, and we will make sure that those questions get to her and she will respond to you. And if you need any further information, do the same, drop us a text on the comment section below. But until next time, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please do share, like, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, goodbye and God bless.